Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to talk about why turning your credit company into a funding company, it's so much better, so much more profitable, and such a better business and lifestyle to live, okay? If you don't know who I am, my name is Javi, and I had to start a funding company just to not file for bankruptcy. I got scammed for a ridiculous amount of money. It was almost $600,000. I had to come up with 40 grand every single month. So what I did is I started a funding company. I started charging high ticket, and in 4 months, we started doing about 100K per month. Now we're doing about 3 point something mil a year. And in that journey, a lot of credit companies tell me, hey, how did you do this? And now I create content and do videos on how to exactly run and start a profitable funding company, okay? So you're a credit repair company, right? Here's the main problems that I have with credit companies. So let's start with the pros. With the pros is that you have credit knowledge, and credit knowledge will be forever useful for the rest of your life because the USA is run by credit, right? When we want to buy a house, when we want to even buy a phone, we want to buy a car, when we want to get a loan, it's all revolved around credit. So the biggest benefit you get from actually owning a credit company is actually the knowledge itself. That knowledge is going to stick to you forever, and you're always going to be able to use it. And if you're credit rich, it's very hard for you to be poor because or you're just not using your credit correctly. But if you have good credit and you understand credit, it will benefit you the rest of your life. Now, the other pros, I honestly can't think of any more. If you can think of any pro that is like, oh, this is why credit companies are so amazing, please let me know. I couldn't think of any more. But the cons. The cons is that it's low ticket. For me, my whole goal was to get to 100K months. Why? I don't know. I had this fascination with, I got to do 100K per month. If not, I'm not a real entrepreneur. I don't know. Maybe I was super insecure. I don't know what the hell, but that was just my goal. I started a business and I always wanted to say I make 100K per month. And now I'm trying to aim for $1 million per month. Maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe it's just like an achievement thing. Hey, you unlocked an Xbox or PlayStation achievement, whatever it may be, when you're playing a video game. This is how I see business. I just want to get to this goal, but whatever. Point is to get to that 7 figures or 6-figure monthly with low ticket. Holy shit! It's an uphill battle and it's taking forever because you're charging $90 a month or $300 or $500. It's just so it's low ticket, so it's very hard. The next one is a red ocean. Red ocean means that everybody in the mother is doing this exact same thing as you. And the reason why it's a red ocean than any other business is because some people fix somebody's credit, like an uncle or whatever. They remove a hard inquiry, and then that's your competition right there. And they think they have a credit repair company because they make $500 a month. And then that's your competition. Then they post on Instagram, TikTok, and all social medias, and you're competing against that person. So it's not a good spot to be. Harder to reach 7 figures, so just harder to do the $1 million plus a year. The market itself, it's annoying because the audience itself, the reason why people have bad credit is because they can't pay the bill. So why would I want to build a company that is based on that audience? Remember, the audience itself, their credit is messed up because they don't have good money managing skills. They don't know how to pay their bills. It's just a bad audience. So why would I want to build a company, a multi-billion, or not billion, $1 million company with an audience that could barely afford to pay their own bills? I don't want to do that. And it's hard to sell to the audience because they're broke already. So no. Then the bureaus are always changing. The tactics are always changing. So it's inconsistent. That's why I didn't want to keep scaling at the credit company because I was getting inconsistent results. I don't know about you if you get consistent results. In my experience, I work with a couple credit companies, a couple credit people, and it's always some different fucking shit every single time. It's always some elusive stuff. We can't really know. Oh, we're sending more letters. We're doing more this. And it's always some stuff that we can't put our finger on it. We can't figure it out. The bureaus are always changing. They're getting sued left and right. It's just an absolute fucking nightmare. So I didn't want to start. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And sometimes I want to tell you guys this, that we want to solve all these problems, right? But sometimes the best way to solve this problem is not to solve it and just move on to another thing and let this fire burn. I know that's hard to understand, but I'm telling you, just stop trying to solve some of these problems and just forget about it. forget about it. Oh, but what about this? This happens a lot with new clients that are their credit repair company and they're trying to pivot to the funding. And you don't have to make a full pivot because funding, in order to get people funded, they need credit repair. That's why it's a perfect brother and sister company. You don't have to completely just throw it away, but there are some fires worth burning, right? Now, the hiring and training, horrific. Another key part that this is one of my favorite parts about this, well, not favorite parts, is that you gotta bust your ass to make little results. You gotta put 80% of the effort to get 20% of the results. Nightmare, right? So now, if we turn our credit company into a funding company, right? Boom. Right, and what I mean by this primarily is that when we're advertised, when we present ourselves, we say we are a funding company. What's a funding company? We help entrepreneurs or small business owners acquire funding, capital, funds for they could start, scale, or grow their business. Right, and then on the back end, we have the credit repair. So what you're doing is getting your credit repair and almost upgrading it to a funding company, but in the back end, you still have the credit repair and that pipeline to keep people that are not qualified into that system, right? So the pros of having a funding company, what I love about it is instead of figuring these things out, like I was telling you, hey, let's figure all this stuff out for the credit company, they're already solved in the funding company. They're already solved. Like the problems are solved by itself by just changing the business. It's nuts. Right? This is why for me, this happened like all out of necessity. I needed to come up with 40 grand every single month or I had to file for bankruptcy. I couldn't rely on the model of credit repair. It wasn't a genius idea that I started figuring this thing one by one. I'm like, oh my God, look at what's happening. No, it was purely made out of necessity. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, thank God I did it. And the reason why I did it is because I didn't want to file for bankruptcy. I need to make money now. So all these cons are turned into pros in the funding company, starting with high ticket. Now we can start charging 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 grand, whatever it may be for our funding, right? Now we're in a blue ocean. There's barely funding companies out there. You know, I just did a video that is showing about 4 million new businesses are started a year, like new LLCs and new entrepreneurs, and about 33 existing small businesses. My group only has 250 members, and about 30 of them are actually like scaling like a they're spending a lot of money on ads and they're making a good chunk of money. So there's so much room for growth there, right? Now, it's easier to reach 7 figures because it's easier to reach 100K months, right? Because you're charging high ticket, we're charging 10 grand, 8 grand, 6 grand, or even hell, if you're charging 5 grand for your services, much easier to hit 100 grand per month because that's only 20 units. With credit repair, we had to move 200, 300, 400, 500 sales just to touch 50K or 100K, right? So easier to get to 7 figures, much better market, night and day. Now we're targeting business owners. Business owners is looking for value. They don't care for the price or whatever it may be. They're not looking for the best deal on the market. They're looking for the best value on the market. Different mentality, different philosophy. Credit repair clients that can barely afford their bills, that's why they have bad credit. Business owners, if you can solve X problem, they will give you whatever amount of money they have, right? As long as it's reasonable between the level of the complexity of the problem and how much income they're gonna make if you do solve that problem. They don't really care because if you do solve the problem, they're gonna make more money. So they'll give you whatever you charge them. That's why we could charge for $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 for our funding. Okay. Another thing is now we're working with banks and not bureaus. Banks, much better team people to work because they want to get as many people approved for the 0%. So they're giving you the system, the RMs, they're giving you everything you need to get people approved to higher amounts. The bureaus don't do that. They don't help you because the banks benefit from having multiple people across the board with more 0% cards. So they benefit from that. That's literally the business model. That's how they make money. And there are M's that give you all the secret. They give you everything they need. Here's how we need the profile to look to get approved for 30K per card or whatever it may be, right? Scaling becomes much easier. Hiring and training becomes much easier, which is go back to the scaling. And then another beautiful part about this formula, the formula flips. I am telling you, I have worked less over the years and made more over time. Because the funding company, I could do one sales call and charge somebody $6,000. You cannot do that with credit repair. How are you going to give somebody, how is somebody going to pay you $6,000 or $8,000 for a credit repair service that takes you 1 hour? And if I add the fulfillment, appointment setting, and sales, fully takes about 2 to 3 hours. So in 2 or 3 hours, you can make 8 grand to 10 grand. You cannot do that with credit repair. So 20% of the effort generates 80% of the results. Okay. Now, there are some cons in the funding company, right? And one is you can't be a schmuck, right? Since we're going to a higher tier leverage, you have to be a legitimate person. That's why I love the funding space, because anybody in the mother, like, you can be a schmuck and own a credit repair. When I'm even a schmuck, it's someone that doesn't have their stuff together. Like, they're just like winging it. They're almost like they're in the hustler mentality. The thing that it's a hustle, that they're like, the thing that they're selling like drugs or something. It's like they have like the hustle. It's like, oh, I'm just hustling. It's like just like like their business is ghettofied. You get me? It's like, no, you gotta have things in order, because now we're talking to business owners about financials, about money. And if you look like you don't have your shit together, why would they pay you $8,000? Why would they trust you with their business? Why would they trust you with structuring the business, putting in contact with, like, if you look like you don't have any sense of like thing figured out? So if you're just like a slob in business, this is not gonna work out for you. It's not gonna work out for you. Now, another con, it could be you have to be good at sales. In credit repair, it doesn't fucking matter, because I don't know how many times I've talked to you guys. You go, I am so good at sales. Oh my God, I'm so good at sales. I'm like, okay, so what's the price of your program? Oh, it's $60. I'm like, huh. So you're closing everybody 100% closing rate, because you're offering them to get a 750 credit score for just $50, right? Wow. Well, no shit, you have 100% closing rate. You have no resistance. You're promising them the heavens for just $50. You get me? That's why you have a high closing rate. But a good closer closes at any cost. I personally have closed people at 5,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000. Doesn't matter the price. The what matters the value, and the price comes with the value. All right. So if you have to be at least a 30% closing rate, you're golden. You easily make 50 to 100K per month. Okay. So this is pretty much the main reasons, and the kind of the ones that I could think of in the quickest way as possible, the pros and cons of a funding and credit company. I much prefer the funding company because it's easier to scale. It's a better lifestyle business. I'm not running crazy around managing a huge team. I'm not always on a meeting. I'm not always like bothered by my clients or whatever it may be, because the process is much less. Like, you get somebody funded within 30 days. In credit repair, sometimes you're with these people for months. Right? That's something I should have put here in the pros. You work with somebody for 35 days, 2 months max. Credit repair, you with this person 6 months, 8 months, a year. Horrible business. You're pretty much just locked into that person, and they paid you like minimum effort or minimum money, and now you got to promise in the world for $200, $300. Hell, even if you're paying them $1,000, even if you charge $1,000 in credit repair, it is not worth it, because you're working with these people for 12 months sometimes. Hell, even longer. My brother has been in credit repair for almost 2 years. So it's just a nightmare. All right. So if you want to learn all this stuff, if you want to turn your credit company into a funding company, or if you want to start a funding company, you can click the link below and you join my community. I just started the school community. For just $97 a month, you get access to every little thing, every little tactic. We have over 100 hours of detailed content on how to scale your company, how to start your company, how to turn your credit into a funding company, and everything you need. We have templates, funnels, scripts, anything you can think of, literally from zero to all the way to $300,000 every single month, and every tactic, every strategy, and everything that I've had and taught is all there for a very low ticket. And my whole reason for that is to get as many of you guys to the 5, 10, 15, 20K per month. Once you're there, if only if you choose to, you can join my high ticket offer, and I'll help you scale to 50, 100, and beyond that. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you got a lot of value. I'll see you guys on the next one.